Last week of the World Series. It's official. We have 7 days left. How you feeling?
Tired.
Same. Today I'm playing the 777. It's a 7 max tournament. 30-minute levels on day 1, 40-minute levels on day 2, and $750,000 plus is guaranteed to first place.
Let's go!
What a great tournament this is so far. The low jack player opens, high jack player calls, 1800. I'm on the button with king jack of clubs and 45 big blind, so I just peel. I think I could squeeze this one now. Big blind comes along, so 4 ways. The flop is 10, 9, 7, 2 clubs. So I have 2 overs, open-ended, club draw, everything. The low jack player bets 4K, so that's like half the pot. High jack player snap calls, doesn't even think about raising. I just ripped it all in for 35K. Big blind folds, low jack folds, and then high jack goes into the tank so long that he gets clock called on him. So the floor has to come down and count him down from 30 seconds. And eventually he tosses in the chips with jack 9 offsuit. We're way ahead. I think we're like 60-40 at this point, which is pretty good when you don't even have a pair. We brick out, turn is a deuce of spades, river 10 of hearts. We do not get there. That was bullet number 1. Bullets number 2 and 3 were complete misfires as well, and these rebuys are starting to add up. But I'm not ready to surrender yet, so here we are on bullet number 4. It's a brand new day and I'm ready for battle. At a 7-handed table, you can expect a lot of fireworks. Right away, I get squeezed out of this pot when I open king jack off under the gun. Then the same guy opens, I 3-bet him with king 9 suited. We're developing an aggressive dynamic here. He lets it go though, and now we enter the first significant pot of the day. I open ace 4 of spades under the gun to 1200. Older gentleman who's really aggressive in the cutoff makes the call, and the button is a guy who stares just a little too long, makes you feel uncomfortable, also comes along as well. So 3 ways we see the jack 10-7, 2 spades and a heart flop. This is a board that kind of smashes my opponent's range in this spot. With the nut flush draw, I could go either way with this one. I decided to check this time. Cutoff bets 2,500, so about half pot into 2 other opponents. Creepy guy on the button makes the call. I'm gonna make the call as well. The turn is the 9 of hearts, so straightening out here on the board. And when I check it over to the cutoff, he continues for 4,600. Quite a small bet now. The button makes the call, and I just think I'm getting too good of a price to go anywhere. Part of me calls because I have the nut flush draw, and the other part of me calls just because this dealer makes it so fun to get change. He also makes rivers really fun when he whips over the 8 of spades. So we river the nut flush. There's some straight flush possibilities, but I want to lead this river, get some value from hands that might want to check back and get to showdown because a lot of stuff is looking pretty scary on this board. So I lead 10K, cutoff calls, and creepy guy stares a little too long once again and makes the fold. The cutoff mucks when he sees my hand, and this is the biggest pot I have won in 4 attempts at this tournament. So I'm really pumped heading into break. Next level, I open 10-9 of hearts under the gun to 1,500. The small blind has been really snug, and he 3-bets me to 3,500. Very small sizing, so I'm not going anywhere. I toss in the 2,000 extra chips. Heads up to a flop, it comes out queen 10, 3 rainbow. And I don't know if you guys can tell from the angle of this footage, but my opponent was breathing quite heavily already on this flop. He leads out 3,000. I'm going to call with my middle pair and proceed with caution. The turn is a queen of hearts. This time the small blind slows down with a check, and I decide to blocker bet for 4,000 into 14.5. I think it's small enough that I can get check called by ace king. I'd rather do this than check back the turn and have to decide to call potentially a much larger bet by my opponent on the river. The river is a jack of clubs, and the small blind checks it over to me once again. Even though I don't expect to win this pot a lot, I think I just have to take this hand to showdown. So I check it back, and the opponent has pocket kings. So even though I take a little hit to my stack there, at least I've picked up a potential tell on this guy's body language when he has a premium hand. Okay, we're on an extended sort of color up break right now. Taking a break is good right now. My table, I feel like they've just been running me over, but honestly, they've just been 3-betting spots where I've had the literal worst hand I opened in those positions. For example, King 10 offsuit in the low jack gets 3-bet by the small blind, gonna fold that one. Ace 10 offsuit, early position, get 3-bet by the button, gonna fold that one. Then I put in a light 3-bet of my own with Queen 8 suited, cutoff versus hijack, but get stomped on when he comes over the top with a 4-bet. The closest spot I did have actually is pocket 8s. I opened from under the gun off of 30 big blinds. The button called and the small blind squeezed. So even though I had a little less than 30 big blinds in this hand, I pulled up Floptimal, used the 30 big blind chart, and I'm supposed to be jamming pocket 8s in this spot. But that's just if I assume that the small blind is 3-betting stuff like this. You can see ace 9 offsuit is green, pocket 8s is green, pocket 5s, king 9 suited. If I think he's 3-bet squeezing all of those things, then I'm more comfortable shoving 8s. As is, in this player pool, I'm not sure if he is squeezing all of those hands, so 8s becomes a lot closer. I ended up folding that one. That was the closest one I had out of all the times that I got 3-bet. I just kept getting 3-bet. Then I get short enough, shove 12.5 big blinds with king jack suited. The button makes the call, and now the small blind with the kings with the heavy breathing from earlier moves all in over the top of that. Button goes into the tank for a while, but he eventually lays it down, and we're heads up against pocket aces. I'm dead.
Even 3 ounces. Ace queen. Oh, that's
there's only 2 hands. You probably could have came over top.
better than having jack.
Huh?
Better than having jack. Is it?
Yeah, let's get some diamonds. Oh, I see a diamond.
That's
No.
red.
One more diamond.
Oh,
Ooh,
God.
9.
Too many outs. Oh, my God.
Diamonds.
For the triple.
So we make a flush on the river, and now we're back in business. We start getting lots of playable hands. The only problem, we either whip the board completely, or when we tried our very best to put out a little c-bet and take down a small pot, we get check raised. This happened over and over and over again. At least Sean the dealer was keeping things fun.
Ah, shit.
This could be the blooper reel.
Yeah, I have so much.
Something like that.
And then all in is the little dot.
Yeah, I guess.
Boom. Love it. I could feel I was getting frustrated. In the end, I shoved my last 11 big blinds with ace 4 offsuit on the button. The small blind wakes up with pocket jacks. We do not spike at ace. And that was the end of a very frustrating 4th bullet in this 7-7 tournament. Jesse talked me into buying in again. Here we go. You guys see that line? I don't know if I've ever fired 5 bullets in anything, but I guess this is the tournament to do it. What number are you on? I shoved my last 11 big blinds in there with ace 10 of hearts from the cutoff. Small blind wakes up with ace jack, and we have a fun little sweat. Oh. Ooh.
Bust out candy.
Why don't we get a bust out bottle of wine?
Yeah, I'm definitely in for that.
All right. Do you think we're gonna have any money left after this tournament?
Hope so. Our dogs need food.
Yeah. And that would be the perfect ending to a sad WSOP where we never really got anything going. So just to go over a couple of numbers, total events played, I played 26 tournaments, but entries, I fired 37 bullets total. That includes all the online bracelet events as well. So buy-ins came out to a total of $32,362. I only cashed for $10,114, but I did sell 30% of my action at 1.2. So inside events, total number lost was $14,105. If you include the main event action, that brings my total WSOP result to a loss of $19,545. At the end of the day, this is really not that high of a number. I think it's good for people to share their results and for everyone to see that not everybody's WSOP is this glorious, momentous occasion. Sometimes you lose, and that's okay. Hopefully you reflect on it afterwards and you grow for the next series. Yes, it sucks to be even more in makeup as a tournament player, but this is part of the grind and you're gonna go through these periods. So chin up, we've got a lot of work to do. We have the rest of the year to turn things around and bank that big score.